We'll start off with Pledge Allegiance.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Now we're official.
COVID has taken out the chairman and Ed Carey. I was asked to fill in his chair, pro temp, and unless that's okay with everybody,
Great.
we'll proceed with that. Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting,
Motion to approve?
and any discussion? Second? Motion's made, it's approved, it's seconded, so it's approved. Approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Yep.
Okay. Fall update.
Alrighty.
Chris?
Yeah, so we have a fall update. Do we have somebody that's keeping, you are? Okay. What I have is, you don't have to write this down, I have all of the figures on this.
I appreciate
So,
that.
yeah, so that's less work there. So the fall update as of today, the 88 boat ramp has taken in $10,255. Our dock and slips for the waterway user fee is $122,578. Our private moorings, $7,290. And then our mooring rentals is an even $3,000. Everything is pretty much on par for where we were last year. The private moorings is more because we're charging more, from $15 to $25. Right now, we are still chasing people for waterway user fees. We have done a full round of tagging in the Westport River, and as of right now, we are making phone calls to people to just remind them about the waterway user fee. After that, we will be sending, we call them hate letters, but it's an official letter in the mail as a reminder to pay the waterway user fee.
How many are in arrears?
We got every year it's a stack. It's a stack.
You know,
You
And so
measure by
we-
inch?
15, 20, something?
Oh, probably more than that. I would
Yeah.
probably say maybe around 30
Uh-huh.
or more. Some people, they put the boat in, these are for boats that are in Westport waters for more than 2 weeks. Some people will put their boat in and the next day they get a tag and then they're gone. And so those we just kind of rip up. But we do have the chronic non-payers and we just chase them yearly. So there is a $50 fine that can be written, eventually. And if it's a really chronic problem, we can seize the boat, bring it up here until there's a payment. There's also a small claims court option. That's also something that we can do.
Have you ever had to do either of those?
Not yet, but it's in our bag of tricks of things that we can do for non-payment.
And you described that in the hate letter, these are the,
Yes, yeah,
Good.
we're gonna put you on the rack.
yeah.
We're gonna pull your, however that goes. So anyway, that's where we're at financially. If you look outside, there's a pretty great rainbow going on, but wow. Anyway,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so-
Oh, it's a beauty.
way to, kill the dullness in the room here.
Oh, yeah.
Good eye.
It's landing on Dartmouth.
Is that where we need to go?
That's what the gold is.
How'd it go, yeah.
So anyway, that's just a fall update or where we are. I'm working, I just got the budget worksheets for the FY 25 budget. So we'll be doing the budget sheets for our next budget year, but there doesn't really seem to be any dramatic increases. But when we run the numbers and also having to pay indirect costs for running an enterprise fund to do business within the town, which is $55,000, if we do need to bump the waterway user fee up 50 cents or something like that, we should know once this collection period comes to a stop and we start collecting for next year.
Do we have a January 1st deadline to, is to some kind of, at some point we have to make a move prior to
It's more just talking with the accounting to just see where we're coming from, where we're going, if there is a surplus in the enterprise fund, or if we're looking like we're edging towards the red, and then we would have to do something about that. So we try to run a level funded budget. We don't want to take much more than we need. So that's the where we're at with that. So do we want to go next to the?
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, into
Item
the-
item 3 is discussion.
Yep.
First one was federal channel update and dredge update.
Sure. So the federal channel, this is broken up into two different things. The federal channel update is something that we can talk about as fall progresses into winter. I was talking to the chief at Bristol Aids to Navigation, who made a recommendation that that he would like to remove all channel markers inside of number 12 into the Westport River. And he said, how do you feel about that? And I said, I think that there's going to be a problem with that. If you were to remove every single channel marker inbound in the Westport River. Now, in the past, they've removed half. They'll remove the bulk of some stuff and just leave a bare bones marked channel.
Is this for winter or
Yes.
winter and summer?
This is for winter and winter patterns that they're looking at. And I said, absolutely not. I am not for removing channel markers, or that many channel markers. We do have.
Why would they want to remove them?
For ice flow. I can step back and tell you another story of the Westport River was maintained by a 40-foot buoy tender, and with the shoaling that has now happened, we have replaced a lot of the steel-hulled federal channel markers with plastic. And they are worried about ice flows
Are
and
those
their
like
plastic.
12 to 20 ones?
Yes, because if they can't get the 40-footer in to maintain everything, they then have to come with a boat and a trailer. It's a metal shark boat that will then maintain everything inside the Westport River, because the 40-footer can no longer.
Is there such a thing as winter sticks for buoys?
Well,
'Cause
listen, I mean, if they are really going to come into Westport and remove all of the federal channel markers from 12 inbound into Westport to the Fontaine Bridge, the Harbor Master Department is going to have to put something in there. We're still in the negotiation phase, and I'm at the point now where I don't care if it's a high flyer that's out there, but the vessels, commercial vessels in Westport, need something with a radar signature to mark what we have for good water.
Is this a proposal or is this,
This is a phone call from the chief of Bristol Aids Navigation asking me how I feel about that, and the rebuttal is not good.
as a one board member, I'm totally against it.
Oh, absolutely.
I can see their job's easier,
Mhm.
but, it's still their job to provide navigation aids.
Yes. So this
But
is,
presumably they won't want to do it for a reason,
they are
He
doing
just described it.
for ice flow.
Ice damage.
Yeah,
to see what it does or to protect the
to
buoys.
protect their,
They don't have steel buoys up the river anymore, they're plastic, and he feels they're gonna get damaged by ice
I mean, there
possibly.
needs to be something in there for the fishermen,
there has to be something.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
were saying, the chief was also saying, or classifying Westport as a seasonal harbor, which I also disagree with.
Yeah, no.
No, we got a
Yeah.
deep sea fishing fleet.
Yes. I said, I
Dock
have at
on.
least 12 reasons,
Yeah.
and they're right here at the end of
Yeah.
this commercial dock that go year round. So this is just something that we're in the works, and I just wanted to make it publicly known that.
So when is winter considered to start and end?
I'll just give you a general timeline of probably the first of the year into March 15th. So we're talking roughly 3.5 months that they would want to. And I am several phone calls, and talking around the dock, to say, we don't mind if you bring it down to kind of a skeleton crew of federal channel markers, but to remove everything and to tell people to rely on their track line or something to that effect with no radar signature, I think is, it's unreasonable on their part. And I know that board members have been on part of this board probably longer than I've been alive, possibly. Have you ever seen anything or heard anything like that?
No.
In previous years? And this is what I told them. I said, listen, I've been doing this, working for the town since 2007. And not once since my time working for the town in 2007 have I ever heard or seen the removal of all federal channel markers within the Westport River inbound from number 12. So,
What's a seasonal, can you think of an example of a seasonal harbor? I mean, that's an interesting concept.
yes. And my question was, when was Westport classified as that? Is this something recent? Or was this something that was classified 20, 30 years ago?
And when were you gonna tell us?
I
And when
think
were
it's
you gonna
something
tell
that's
us?
made up.
I think it's something new on the books.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm still waiting for that question to be answered. I'll fill you in. I'll fill you in when I know, but this is just something
Got
that
relatives in the Coast Guard, and their mission has changed. They come under the Department of Homeland Security now. There's a lot of stuff, search and rescue aids, navigation is no longer their priority. So I'm just wondering how that falls.
Yeah, so these are just things that are in the mix right now, and I'm trying to plead as best I can to leave something in there. And if they decide to take them all out, then it's up to the department to figure something else out, because we need something with a radar signature on crucial points in which.
I mean, at that point, you'll end up getting the barge from trips, because it's, whatever you put there is gonna have to stay there, right? It's gonna be
No, until they
substantial.
come
Oh
back.
no, this would just
What?
be. I mean, this would be unfortunately, seat of your pants, a couple of brake drums, and something.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it has to be heavy enough to stay in place.
So
Yeah.
the proposal to remove them, does that mean they also are gonna remove their mooring with it?
I believe that they would take everything with it.
Because, you know,
That, you know,
if you had to
that's-
live with it, if they left their mooring, we could just put something,
Yeah, that's
put on it, but,
that's a good question.
because you
I'll-
want to have the exact same bearings.
Yeah, if they would put some sort of winter thing, so they wouldn't have to take the bottom tackle with them. But that's a question for tomorrow. I don't have the answer to that.
If you talk to them again, they have winter markers that are round and tied, ice will slide over them, sink, ice goes away, comes back up,
Yep,
but they're round enough where they don't, ice doesn't lock onto them.
it's pretty much what we use with the hard plastic
That's what
Norwegian
I'm-
balls. Yeah, just a bigger
You might
form
want
of
to
that.
kick that at him as if he's pushy.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're listening to us, and they're definitely listening to the no. Well, we don't want that to happen. Anyway, and then, so that would be a federal channel update of what is happening with the federal channel this winter. I also have a dredge update that is pretty much hot off the press.
Ooh.
We have made the Army Corps of Engineers list of things to happen in FY24 for federal dredging projects.
You've
Now,
given them
their fiscal year starts October 1. And so now we are on,
The clock's on for 24?
on their list. And at this point in time, we have a budget for FY24 of $1,086 to dredge the area of the federal channel in the Westport River that is choked up. And what we need to do now, seeing that we've made the list, just because you've made the list does not mean that anything is going to happen. But this is time where we need to submit a formal letter to not only the Board of Selectmen, but also to our representatives and senators to say, we're on the list, there is $1,086,000 allocated for this project, and we need this to move forward. And so we would probably, the board, Harbor Advisory Committee, with myself, can draft some sort of professional letter explaining why we need this, how badly we need this, and to have our friends try and help get this facilitated into action.
I got a question. That with the channel markers changed close to the boat beach, last year there was a lot of problems. This year I haven't heard really many. Have you noticed?
I've had a
Is
couple.
that thing sanding in and
I've
then
had a couple
parts of it?
reports of, and this is after Hurricane Lee, dead low lunar tides.
4 feet.
Yes. Yep.
Is that down towards,
12,
Yes. It's kind of the hump to get in.
yeah.
and then it's fine the rest of the way?
Yes. I don't know if that hump is ledge, rock, or sand.
No, because I don't think it was that shallow when they first did it.
When they first did it, there was a hump. There was always a hump there.
Yeah,
And this dredging would be in the, where the federal channel is marked. Right now, what is marked is just good water. They would not be dredging what's marked now. They would be moving the channel back to its original location in the area of Spindle Rock.
To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'm going with my track line.
Oh, you know?
Right. Well, this is all system,
Well,
it's all part of Barrier Beach stuff that goes on all the time with Barrier Beaches.
I mean,
Not only here.
How long ago did they dredge?
we'll say 20 years,
What?
approximately 20 years ago.
No,
Yes,
really?
yes.
Oh my God.
And less than 6 months, it was back to where it was.
And what was the extent of it,
The extent of the previous
of the
dredging?
dredging?
I think it was good for about 19 years.
No, but I mean, did they go?
Sand went to Hosneck.
What?
They
No,
put
I
the sa-
understand, but where did they start? Like off Carlton Wharf, and then.
Yeah, well,
kind of-
they
But
went
that
wherever
far.
it was 8
No,
feet.
it's still the same location north of Spindle Rock docks is really where it gets choked out. When you're going by Spindle Rock and the docks there's still pretty good water. As soon as you get to the northern portion of their docks, it
So
just
it's
turns.
not a very long
No,
No,
dredge.
no.
Okay.
Probably from that area to where the entry into the West Branch with the town mark channel.
That dredging was 20 years ago?
Yeah.
And it's $1 million to dredge 9,700 feet?
well, it goes, basically, the way the dredge companies, they bid it by cubic yards, however many cubic yards they have to remove to get it 150 feet wide by 8 feet deep. So,
I have a feeling that when we were dredged the last time, it was through a private company. I believe that this time would be done with Army Corps equipment. The Currituck, I believe, is the dredge boat that would come in here. But anyway, to have us on the Army Corps website for projects for FY24 is exciting enough to say we made the list. Now we just have to talk to our friends and try to make this a priority so it doesn't get bumped off of the list.
okay. Federal Channel update, 2 parts, that's pretty much what we got.
Yeah, that's about, if there's any other discussion on, or any other questions that I could move forward to the, because right now we're dealing with the Army Corps of Engineers. To talk to the Coast Guard and say we need dredging, the Coast Guard is going to say, we mark good water wherever that is, and that is our job to mark the water. It's the Army Corps' job to do the work to make good water if needed. So right now we need to focus our concentration not only to our senators and representatives, we need to concentrate it to then the Army Corps of Engineers also.
It specifies specifically 9 feet deep, 150 to 200 feet wide. So any place they come in and take a sounding, less than that should be dredged.
So have they done the soundings yet?
Yes. They've done, the Army Corps has had their boat here multiple times, napping and re-napping, to take a look at it and to see what they need to move. And, you know, they crunch the numbers and come up with a bid price, and, you know, that's way farther than we've thought about getting at any other point in time thus far, so we need to keep at the Army Corps of Engineers to keep raising our hand.
Okay, so you said we need to put together this letter. Does it need to include anything more than what the Army Corps has already determined from their sounding?
I think the more we throw at them, the better. Something from the harbor master,
What we
something from
need
the
is
harbor
some fishing
advisory
boats to
committee.
run aground on the way in. And for the last year, with the new markings, it's been kind of acceptable, and 2 or 3 boats that had left to go into New Bedford have come back because they can get in and out without a problem.
Not at all tides, though.
Not at all tides.
No, we're still kind
But
of time
it's
restricted.
always been that way.
Yeah. All right. So, next on the agenda, we can talk about the Sloan Awake from, that went to the Board of Select, the Select Board.
Motion to move it further south.
I think the question that needed to be answered was, are we creating a new Sloan Lake area, or are we just implementing Rule 6, Section D of the existing rules and regulations regarding personal watercraft?
That rule you repeated is state or town?
That's town,
The state also has one in addition to it.
yes.
So I don't even understand what the discussion's about if there's a regulation that applies.
Well,
Well, it's a discussion about putting in the marker, right?
it's, are we creating a new slow no wake zone by implementing basically blanketing from Widow's Point to the head of Westport as a slow no wake zone? Or are we, and I'm getting to this section here, implementing Rule 6, Section D
I thought,
of the existing?
I thought it was just a marker to explain, I mean, that the rule was if you had less than 350 feet, it was no wake by rule. And all we were doing was putting a marker in to say so.
Well, let me
That's
just,
why we moved it, right?
Yeah, originally it was gonna be Kirby Brook, and that was wider.
Yeah, so we moved it to where
Widow's
the town
Point
regulations applied.
and state.
Oh,
Not sure if,
yeah.
not sure if the
Well-
states supersede, but the states are more stringent.
so this, I mean, I'll just say, the question at hand is, are we creating a new slow no wake area from Widow's Point to the head of Westport, or are we implementing Section 6, letter D of personal watercraft and water skiing?
I
Which
think it's-
basically,
I think it's implementation rather than new,
it's implementing.
yeah. I mean, that's what we decided, that's kind of what we decided.
No, do you feel the same?
Yeah, well, I thought that's what all our discussion was.
Right.
Yeah,
And I feel the same.
I think
Okay.
that's where the confusion happened with the select board. Maybe thought that we were trying to implement a new slow no wake area, or if we were just trying to implement something that's already on the books. And I think that's the rub.
I don't see there's any question that we're trying to
Why
implement
is-
something that's on the
So
books.
if we're,
so why is this here now? What do you want for a comment from us?
I'm just trying to get everybody up to speed, because there was obviously some sort of confusion at the select board meeting that we had where we needed to have a vote
Well,
happen.
didn't
And
it
so
go
if
to
we're-
the,
if we're not implementing, I mean, if we're creating a new slow no wake zone, we would have to go through the hearing and the process, but if we're just implementing a rule that already exists, then we don't need them to say anything, and we would just basically implement our rule and follow the guidelines of the rule.
What I thought happened was that we put in a slow no wake zone, and then it went to the selectmen, and
And they bounced it back to us.
they bounced it back to us, and that was when, I forget what his name is, the retired policeman.
Simcoe was here at that meeting.
What?
Simple.
Officer Simcoe.
Simcoe,
Sergeant
right.
Simcoe.
Who, and that was when we moved it further north so that it would be within 300 feet from shore to shore, which is, as I understood it, was in our regulations to start with.
That's what it was. We had voted for, I think it was April or
So at
May.
that point, did it
And
have
we
to
voted
go
them
back to the
unanimously
selectmen?
based on current regulations. We voted on again when they booted it back to us based on the same information. We moved the southern boundary of it north by, no, I'm guessing 300, 400 feet.
Yeah.
And now this isn't anything really that, unless they change the regulations, it's a no wake zone, period. So I don't even understand what we're discussing.
Well, it was, by virtue of the regulation, as I understood it, the 300 feet, it was already a no-wake zone.
Yeah.
If you put up a sign, it's just saying
It's
extra,
It's
ditto.
emphasizing.
What?
It's emphasizing it.
Exactly.
So I think that was the problem at hand, was were we creating a new thing?
Is it
or were
still
we
a problem?
implementing- No.
Oh,
At this
okay.
point in time, it's, as far as I know, it's not a problem, and then if we want
But
to
they
put a
told
slow
us, no, don't put a sign up for no wake, I believe is what, they voted against us putting the no wake zone up there.
Who, the
The
selectmen?
selectmen did it, a selectmen's meeting, 3 to 2.
After the meeting with
Like,
Simcoe?
good.
There's a meeting tonight, right?
Yeah, this is a harbor advisory meeting, it might be at the annex.
What are you looking, for?
The other building, yeah.
What are you looking for?
Planning?
Planning.
Planning
yeah,
board,
yeah.
it's in the annex.
Oh,
Yep.
and
All right, have a good night, guys.
Yep, starting at 6. So,
So anyway, so we're just making it, we just want to clear the air as to what happened, what has now happened, just so everybody's on the same page.
well, I don't know what the selectmen voted on specifically. If it's in the regulations, I don't think there's anything to vote on. I don't even know if we had to bring it to a public hearing.
So, just,
We're being polite.
Well,
Well,
we've
it's-
got about 6 hours invested in this now, and it's quite clear to me.
Yeah.
The regulations cover everything.
to clarify, after the meeting that the, what's his name? Simcoe? Did it go back to the selectmen and they had another vote?
Yes,
And they voted
against it.
against it?
Really?
But I'm not sure what they can vote against unless they
They can't,
change the
they can't vote
regulations.
against the regulations.
Right, they're gonna change the regulations.
You could say that we can't put a sign there, I guess.
I don't know why you can't. I mean, that's what the regulation is.
So anyway, at least now we're all on the same page. And anything that we do that might change or might look like a new area or anything to that effect, in my experience, it's nice to be transparent about what you're doing.
Well, I
and
think we
bring
should,
it to a public hearing if it needs it. At this point in time,
I think
looking that
what
it
we-
didn't need to have a public hearing.
it should be emphasized to what the rules and regs state as of today, as of the last time they voted, as of the time before they voted. That in itself answers every question there is. It's not a matter of, do I feel like it? Is it a new zone or anything? The only
think
thing I
that-
could think of it compared to is like the motorcycle helmet laws. Rhode Island doesn't have it, New Hampshire doesn't have it, and they're fact about it. They have hearings every year. Insurance company, police departments, EMTs, they all want to see helmets, but they feel that's an infringement on their freedom.
They're more on the die part than the live part.
Whatever they're on, that's, you know, but
I
this
guess
is,
live
that
free
that
or
doesn't
die.
apply here.
Yeah,
We-
they like to live.
But that doesn't apply here. This is strictly about a regulation that we have on the books.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even specify jet skis, and I think we should keep jet skis out of the conversation.
Yep.
Well,
Except that I think what we saw was that following hard on the heels of David Lima, somebody else showed up wanting a sign. And it's so a little.
But that wasn't a no-wake zone.
No, I understand, but he wanted one.
No, but that's a whole different discussion. We gotta keep the two separate.
It is,
I-
it is and it isn't. It's, as more people,
If it's not posted as a no-wake zone, that's something we have to meet on, recommend, have a hearing, blah, blah, blah. That's not the same as up here where there's regulations strictly applied to what you got here.
I think it kind of,
understood. I'm just saying that it's.
Does everybody want a no-wake sign in front of their house?
What?
Um,
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm not
exactly.
sure how you deal with that, other than we're gonna be pretty busy here, having a hearing, making motions, taking it to the selectmen, have a hearing.
The next thing you know, the river is cluttered with signposts everywhere. Like.
I don't see that happening, but
Okay, I mean,
Um,
I'm just saying it's possible, because,
here's where it got into a gray area also that led us down the path of a gray area. That we're looking for a slow no wake for jet skis only.
it's
It's
not
a slow no
that.
wake for everybody.
It's in-
Yeah,
There's nowhere in these rules and regulations to say that you have to go headway speed within 400 feet in a vessel. Not a personal watercraft, just a vessel.
I thought the state regulation said that,
150 feet
yeah.
for
But
swimming
it,
area.
but
and
it
things
doesn't
like
say
that.
jet ski, it says
No,
recreational
But
vessel.
150 feet, that's, again, getting back to what Alex said, that's why we moved
Yeah.
it north, which is where the 150 feet applies.
So I think it would be smart of us to continue with the 150-foot rule, and when we put that slow no wake in for that area, implementing the rule that's already pre-existing, it's golden.
Yeah.
And so I would just leave with that.
If we have any communications with the town administrator or the selectmen, emphasize there's a regulation on the book that applies, that we're not trying to do anything above and beyond our authorizations,
Yep,
or your authorizations, we just advisors.
yeah, it's on me at that point.
Yeah. But, I mean, for us to back you, we are.
Yeah. So anyway, just to make sure that things are clarified, that's where we were coming from. We were trying to be transparent in this, and now here we are with a final definite ruling.
clear as
So
mud.
in your
Yeah,
in your notes,
yeah.
can you write something to that effect that the
So
board
when it went back to the
feels
select,
that the regulations
So we're
apply?
implementing
Chris,
what's on the books.
when it went
and
back to the
emphasizing
selectmen,
existing
they voted it
regulations
down
in the
again.
Why
slow
don't you
no
get
wake mark.
For
the
the
number
sign?
and page or whatever the regulation, he was talking about page 6 of
Well,
regulations.
that's the
I
town
can-
regulation, we
Yeah.
do
Yes.
the state regulation.
I
Right,
I
you-
just have the town.
All right, just write that in, the town regulation.
What is it?
I have it right here. It's just a
What was
copied email.
I know, but
You would like to know rule,
number,
Well,
whatever.
if you give it to me, I'll copy it and
Yeah.
send it to John.
rule 6, section D
That's
The
what I
town
want.
rule.
is the town, yes.
And it's vessels, not jet skis.
Section D,
Yes. David.
Delta.
Okay.
All right, any more discussion on Widow's Point? No wake zone, any more discussion on that? Let's move on to other business.
well, I do have, I think.
Okay, you got more?
No, it's not about this particular one, but as Alex was suggesting, that once people find out that this is happening, then in that place that's down by the Let,
Yep,
we
Yeah.
come around the blind turn,
Mhm.
well, that fellow was here saying that he'd like one there, and that's clearly meets the rules and regulations. It's probably only,
I'm not sure it meets the
80
rules and regulations.
it's only 80 feet wide there.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's a slow no wake. And he said, well, if these guys get a slow no wake marker to emphasize that it's a slow no wake,
Yeah, that's a
why
good point.
can't I have one?
Um,
And there are lots of places on the river, like when you go out, even up the channel, up by Petty Lane and Hillcrest, I think there are places in there we're getting close to 300 feet.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's nobody, well, not nobody, most people figure that's the channel and they go whipping through there.
they
Oh,
do.
it's main road.
Yeah.
What about, a sign at the boat ramps? Kind of Rule 6, whatever it is, Section D, and possibly a memo going with,
Going out with the annual thing, which is what you said, you sent out once, you approve, you have to sign here that says you've read the rules and regulations.
Right.
But you could say that.
so that covers it, as far
And you
as,
should also say, well, maybe, here are some places, like you have done in the past, that after you come through the 88 bridge.
To get it?
There's a slow no wake there.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are other
Looked like a
places
fruit
that
fly
people wanna
fly,
have
but I don't know what it was. It wasn't a
doesn't take
mosquito.
that much to put it in there.
The,
If someone.
I mean, it's-
yeah, we,
You don't have to put them all in there.
oh, well, it's kind
but to address that, should we maybe just try to explain the law a little better, how the law reads? Sure. In other
Well,
words, and if they read
It's
it,
true, but I think part of the problem, I mean, particularly over by the Let, I mean, nobody goes there but jet skis, right?
no, I wouldn't
People-
say that.
people
but-
don't- Well, people aren't flying through there with,
Well, you got the guys oystering up there, they go wide open.
okay, but that's, it's more a jet ski problem than an other vessel problem.
Anyway, so I think your idea of just clarifying the rule when you send that annual note out.
Yeah,
That covers
well, here's the problem too. There's no registration for jet skis. The waterway user fee is for boats over 10 feet. All jet skis are less than that, so they become exempt of any sort of waterway user fee.
So there's no
Oh, so they
registry of
never
how
see
many
it,
there
you
are
mean?
or anything like
For
that?
jet skis,
Yeah,
the state has them. I'm sure the state can differentiate a jet ski registration.
Well, they have them by title.
Yeah.
that's it.
But if you have a jet ski in the Westport River, the harbor master has no account of you.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Unless we want to make up a new rule, but you know,
Kind of like,
but it falls. It's a vessel that's less than 10 feet, so you don't have to pay a waterway user fee. We don't have a jet ski registry for the town or anything like that.
You don't want that.
No.
they don't require moorings.
Oh yeah. So then it just turns. So they just all fly under the radar.
Is that state?
What's that?
Are those state rules, the 10 feet?
No, that's just the town of Westport drew a line in the sand for waterway user fee.
But they don't have to register them MS numbers? Or
They have to register with the state, but not with the harbor master
But-
department.
They register with an MS number?
Yes, they are assigned an MS number. But they do not need to register anything with the town. And the other thing too, just our simple shellfish aluminum skiff that has been in service for 40 years. It takes 8 minutes for that boat from the Fontaine Bridge to the Hicks Bridge. 40 minutes at cruising skiff speed, what that might be.
How much time?
8 minutes. So we'll
That's
just
in high tide straight line?
straight line, high tide, or pretty much it's just a straight line is 8 minutes bridge to bridge. Now that boat might do, I don't know, let's just say 28 miles an hour,
Goes good.
something like that. Yeah. Now a jet ski can go bridge to bridge in
Half.
or more,
4
a
minutes.
couple of minutes.
Yeah, a couple of minutes.
So the reason that we're having a problem with jet skis is that they run out of road. The jet ski wants to go and see everything that they can see until they can go no further. And so let's just say 6 minutes later, you've gone from the Fontaine Bridge to the head. And therein lies the problem, is that you can cover so much ground in 6 minutes that people get bored and they want to push their luck and go as far as they can go. And really, inherently, anybody on a jet ski is going to be close to shore because they want to say, hey, look at me, I'm having more fun than you, or whatever, I don't know.
One of the, one of the Weathersport citizens, when I was explaining about the enforcement problem, besides everything else, and you just explained it in a nutshell, what about drones? Well, you have to operate a drone, you're gonna have an operator
Sure.
before you even start getting the drone, and then the manpower, the screen, the equipment. I just asked him if he knew
The
how much was.
ammunition.
I just, yeah, I think there's FAA stuff involved in it if they go over a certain height.
Sure.
But I think I explained that, I don't know if he knew how much was involved in it, but it's not as simple as, a kid putting the drone up.
I mean, I feel like TV gives people a false sense of what they can do and the capabilities. We're now using, like, let's just say, CSI science for a parking ticket. And okay, we can use a drone for, you know, a big sting, human trafficking or whatever you need to, okay, that's, you know, a major priority. When you have a speeding or something like that, and then everybody expects you to break out your CSI technology for something that is, I hate to say, maybe a little mediocre in the world of
Well,
crime.
it's a misdemeanor
Something like that,
as
yeah.
opposed to a felony.
Something like that. So that they, you know, it's very easy for people to say, well, where's the drones on that? And you're saying, well, yeah, this is a misdemeanor, not a felony, and we're not going to break out cutting edge technology to see, you know, who didn't close the door. You know, okay.
Can always put in a speed camera, you know, like they have on the road.
Oh, yeah, the speed cameras.
Put it on your buoy.
With a blinker.
Well, that would be the other technology that I could get on board with is the state of Massachusetts says 45 miles an hour. Now you have a jet ski that can do 60, and you have an instrument that can document that's calibrated for that. Then you got them red-handed. Until then, good luck going to court and saying, well, I estimated the speed at, and yeah, good luck proving that in a court of law until you have a calibrated instrument that does such. And even a radar gun for the cars, I think they're over 10 grand for a specific thing. That will then stand up in court. Now, I don't know what a speed gun is going to do when you shoot it at a piece of plastic. Will it read the signal and send it back to you?
There should be enough
There
metal
should
on
be.
that to get a
There
signal.
should be enough something coming
Yeah.
back to you.
Yeah.
So, you know, it might be a high-tech option, but it's another option to say, yeah, you were doing 60 miles an
Still
hour.
need an operator.
Still need an operator.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Trained and certified.
Oh, absolutely. And if you want to fight fire with fire, do we want a jet ski? I know the police had jet skis in the past. Would they want them in the future, or is that just too much
That's what?
headache?
He described that, Officer Simcoe talked about, I think it was a year or two, they had jet skis
Yeah.
patrolling down in, was it B? The bridge.
Oh,
the
right, they
mountain.
had a program.
Yeah,
where they were-
and they'd be out there Saturdays and nice
And I,
days.
and I think,
Two
you
of
know,
Yeah, jet skis are great
once
when
you
they're new, but
once you get done with drones and radar guns and stuff, what you gotta do is establish a presence. Not so much Monday through Friday, but certainly on the weekends.
yeah,
You know, I mean, it's like Jim Perry, you know,
Yes.
he'll spend Sunday just wandering up and down the harbor. Everybody goes slowly.
yeah.
'Cause
That's
they-
a reminder.
What?
His presence
Right,
is a
and
reminder.
if he's not there, people throw a wake.
But he's only about 10% of the area of the river.
No, I understand.
And that's why we're kicking this around so much, that's,
But it's really only on, you know, you're gonna start on a weekend, so.
I'm not suggesting we do anything, but I'm just suggesting we might hear more.
Motion to go to the, oh, I have another subject, which was,
are we moving on to other business?
It's other business.
yeah, I have other business.
Okay, OB.
Which, you went and talked to Osprey Kayaks, right?
Yes. I talked to the owner
What did he say?
that there's been no complaints of jet skis versus kayaks in that area of the river.
No, this is a radio conversation.
Come again?
Like that guy went out, goes out with his 9-year-old off Braden Point and flips over.
Yes,
Everybody depends on telephones now.
yes.
And that's all fine and dandy, but I don't know where the 911 call goes, but then they gotta call you, and then if there's a radio on board, you say, I'm in the water, and people start looking for you. And people should know that, and they don't.
So like mandatory radio with
Well,
ocean kayak
I don't know
rentals?
from- I
Is
mean,
that what we're talking about?
That guy,
I
the
don't
only,
know.
I mean, what if that guy goes and is, you know, just him and his kid?
Mhm.
He floats off to Never Never Land and he's gone.
Yeah.
He got lucky his wife was there.
And
There
the
should at
neighborhood.
least be a sign on that guy's door saying, if you go out in the ocean,
Yes.
you know, everybody thinks it's Disneyland. If you go
It's,
out in the ocean, you need a radio.
It's yeah. The juxtaposition is, wow, this is like Disneyland, but then you find yourself in a Jack London novel getting eaten by a wolf.
There are no wolves offshore.
Well-
that I know
Well,
of.
it's the proverbial wolf.
Us as an advisory
So, are you
board, we don't
suggesting
have
that
any
the
authority to require that.
I understand, but it's an issue.
Are you-
Oh,
are you
it's
suggesting
among a lot of
that
things.
People have a sign that says, if you go out of the river, you should, or you're required to have some kind of a communication
You
device?
should, and he should be telling them that. You know, if he had 3 or 4 radios sitting there, you know, jack up the price. I don't know.
Or at least
It's a pet.
make it an option.
It's a pet.
rental option.
How does he keep track of them when somebody's overdue? Does he
It's
got?
not his job, but it does put.
Another, you signed the lease to go on the kayak and you've got to be
Yeah.
back by a certain time. If you're not, he has no way of knowing how far they went out.
That's true of, I mean, that's true of any kayak you rent, right? I mean,
What about pretty much anything you rent?
yeah. I mean, it's in the river, you probably can swim to shore. Except maybe down by, you know, the other side of the bridge. Out there, different picture. And the reason feel strongly about it is there was a kid off Lobsterville who was in the water probably didn't pass any further away from an MSHA than the other side of Lee's parking lot. No radio. They found him down the next day down Cedar Tree Neck. Radio. Hey, come get me.
I mean, cell phones have definitely added and aided a lot in search and recovery
Yeah.
that we didn't
What
have.
happened, was it last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago? Did you hear anything about that?
That was a
The catamaran?
Hobie cat that launched off of
Gooseberry.
Gooseberry and then ended up in Dartmouth.
They found him?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Westport responded. It was so rough that when Dartmouth got sight of the catamaran and the people, the boat turned around because it was blowing 40 with tropical storm waves.
They said it's Seaton.
Well, here's the thing. Dartmouth and New Bedford are in the lee of Gooseberry when you have southwest that's blowing to 40 with tropical. What a lot of people, I hope would understand, is that for the rescue boat to leave the mouth of the harbor,
Jim said he couldn't get out.
to leave the river, go into the ocean, and then have to go around
Gooseberry.
through the Chicken's Channel, or if the Chicken's Channel is dangerous, you have to go around the Wildcat,
Right.
which is
No, I was just curious whether,
it's a hair-raising experience if it's blowing 40 and nasty out there.
I had heard about it. I
And
came
so
by.
instead of the Westport boat becoming somebody that might need to be rescued, we deferred to the mutual aid of Dartmouth and towboat that came out of New Bedford that don't have to go around
Right.
the Chicken's Channel, go through the Chicken's Channel, go around the Wildcat or something to that effect, which would then put us more in danger.
No, I wasn't.
And
I was just-
sometimes,
When I'd heard about it when I went down East Beach, the
Yes.
towboat guy was just wandering around looking for him.
yes, there was one person on the boat and one person a quarter of a mile away from the boat.
And they found him.
Yes.
Where were they? Do you know?
I don't know exactly. I mean, in
Okay.
dark and
At least they got him.
Oh yeah, yeah. But this is the situation where if you want to look a little bit deeper, should the gate have been opened at Gooseberry to allow the public to go out, blowing 40 with tropical storms as well?
At Disneyland.
Disneyland, yeah. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
And I think in that, and they did have a life-saving station on the east side of Gooseberry for no reason at all, because it is an area that is
Well,
difficult
was there
to
a
get to.
causeway at the time?
Oh, that's a good question too. Yeah, see, my limited knowledge, but still, there was a station.
They were on the lee side.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're on the lee side, yeah, for sure. But that's just something to take into effect when something happens that was started in Westport and it's difficult for Westport to safely get its assets on location.
Oh, were they from Westport?
I don't know. Who
I
these
didn't know
people-
where they
I don't
were
know.
from.
No,
It launched
I don't
What?
in Westport.
They launched from Westport and then.
Oh, from
good times
Gooseberry,
went back.
right.
But I would have to say that it probably was not a wise choice to go out on that day. And it put a lot of people in jeopardy,
People make
including the
mistakes,
rescuers.
and they can be fatal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There was that, they're a friend of Carl's.
I
That-
don't
I don't know, they were
Carl Ho.
trips. There were some kids and they were advised not to come back from Gutty Hunk. This was a long time ago.
Oh,
They-
sure.
They never made it.
Yeah. Yeah,
The weather rules.
the last sailboat that we pulled off the beach, the guy came back and was trying to come into Westport because he had to work the next day. Meanwhile, the whole federal channel was closing out completely, and he was lucky to be alive. I found a backpack in the water and thought it was him, but it was just his backpack. Anyway, yeah, it's tough to, I guess it's tough to make wise decisions when you can miss the day of work.
Well,
lose
so
your
much
life.
seems to happen, it's like people with, people with a big budget can look at their summer and say, well, let's buy a 50-foot boat. And then, oh, now what?
So back to your, are you suggesting that Chris talk to the Osprey people and
Suggest.
suggest?
If you don't want to do it, I'll do it. I don't want to.
Okay.
What would the premise be? That if any kayak were to go in the ocean?
No,
they have a
just make
hand-
them aware that
Oh, yeah. No,
when
they're
people
aware. I
go
mean,
in the
it's-
ocean,
It's
stuff
kind
can
of like
happen.
it's kind of like the car rental place. They ask if you want a GPS with your car for an extra $15 or whatever. Do you want a VHF radio to go with you in your kayak rental? It'll be an extra $10, to rent it. or-
Most of those
as
leases,
long as it comes back.
the leasee signs a release when he takes the thing
So
about.
what, I'm sorry?
Somebody goes up there, leases a kayak, he signs a release
Right,
as part of the contract.
right.
No
So-
doubt.
No, I'm not suggesting
So
that
I'm
there's
not sure how
liability for
much-
the guy. It's just an added safety.
An added safety thing for whatever amount of money.
But if there's no regulation, it's just a suggestion.
No, yeah.
Also, I'm guessing that anyone who rents a kayak from Osprey, the percentage of people who go all the way down the river and out
Very
is
small.
going to be,
But this guy put it on the top of his car and went to Brayton Point.
so I didn't know they let you do that. Let you take them out of there?
I guess, otherwise he went all the way. Anyway, motion to adjourn.
Anything else?
So I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye, aye, aye.
Yeah.
Motion's adjourned, disapproved.